Hello, hello, everyone. A warm welcome to you. And this is our first ever episode of the Real Talk live stream. I hope you are enjoying, tuned in, and waiting to hear what we have to talk about. Jeremiah, hi.
Hi Rose, how you doing, guys? I am super pumped, super excited. This has been a long time coming, but I'm so glad that we are here. Remember, tell friends to tell a friend to tell another friend that we are finally live, and welcome to this very beautiful conversation. Remember, we are discussing all things. Why do people in relationships cheat? I will be your co-host, Lumumbe Jeremiah Molinda, taking you through this very insightful conversation alongside the lovely Rose. Hi, Rose. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing all right. I hope everyone else with us is well too. And I hope our guests and the people watching from home are doing well and are going to enjoy today's topic because, as you have said, we're talking why do people cheat in relationships? That's a really juicy conversation because we are in a time when so many people are in relationships today, some leading to marriage and some died because of the topic of today. So, beautifully with us, we have Victor and we have Paul, our sign language interpreter. So, I guess we can begin with Victor.
Yes.
What do you think, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And ever since we agreed on this as our first topic, I have been trying to wrap my head around it. Like, what really is cheating? What can we categorize as cheating? But I think I have established that cheating is something. For example, if you're in a relationship, it's something that you agree with your mate. So it's not a one size fits all. For example, you can be able to talk to the other gender who you are not seeing in a flirtatious way, and then other people will say, I mean, that's not cheating. That's just basically making a conversation. So, Rose, what do you think cheating is from your point of view?
I don't know. I personally, in my relationship, say that cheating is when you are flirtatiously or with intention talking to someone who you know either has emotions for you or you have
Mm,
emotions for them and you're entertaining that energy. Then
yeah.
you are welcoming cheating into this thing. It doesn't have to get physical. It just has to be personal. You get me?
Yeah. So it's not about the action, it's rather about the intention.
Exactly. It's all about the intention.
Yeah, I like that. Well, let's bring in our guest. Victor, please introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Well, thank you so very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited. I was looking forward to being part of the discussion, and I hope we'll find it very informative. So, I'm Victor Msonda. I'm an adolescent mentor, a pediatric mentor. So, basically, my responsibility is just to look at adolescent sexual reproductive health. So, I'm based in here in Lusaka. I hope that suffices.
Yes, it sure does. It really does. I guess because you do work with adults and kids and whatnot, you'll be able to put two and two from the time we are kids to the time we are adults and tell us what really goes on in our heads also.
Yeah, that's it. That's very true. I've been able to see, kids who transitions from being children and now they are adults. Somebody who I've seen being in grade one and now they are teenagers and they're in grade 12, and the phases of development and seeing them changing is really something that is fun, but at the same time challenging. And I hope I'll be able to guide the young people tuning into.
Yes, brilliant. And remember, if you are at home, wherever you are in this lovely part of the world, you can be a part of this wonderful conversation. Please send us your questions. Why do you think people in relationships cheat? And if you stick along with us through this journey, I have lovely surprises for everyone who's going to send me a question, for everyone who's going to send me a contribution. I have lovely surprises that we'll be giving out to you every single week. So you want to stick around, please stick around. Send us your question via Twitter, via YouTube, via Facebook. We'll be very happy to respond to those questions.
And yes, just as Jeremiah has said, the places to catch us is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And remember, as you send in your lovely comments, tell us where you're commenting from and tell us what you really think. Like, really be real with us, because this is real talk at the end of the day. So be real as you tell us what you tell us. So we have defined what cheating is. Now, what are some of the reasons why people cheat? I'm talking to Jeremiah and Victor, guys. Why do people cheat? I hear the cheating thing really happens on the guy's side a lot, but now we're hearing this whole catchphrase of life in Lusaka. It's happening on both ends.
Yeah, and I think before I cue in Victor, I don't really think that the cheating mostly happens in men. I think that's a very biased rose. Don't do that again. And I basically think, you know, people cheat for various reasons. But off the top of my head, I think people cheat when, you know, they are not satisfied with the current status quo, you know. So it can be different things. Maybe your partner isn't giving you the attention, the care, the love, the respect, the kindness, you name it. I think that is where cheating begins from. And of course, if you see something better, you know, the greener pastures, you will be tempted to move on. But I think
what are these greener pastures? What are these greener pastures?
I'll allow Victor to come in on that one. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeremiah. I hope that you are not encouraging young people and adolescents to be looking for greener pastures when they are in relationships. Yeah. So just to add on to what you've said, cheating is, I think, is simply not being faithful to either your spouse or the significant other or a person that you are committed to in a relationship. It could be an intimate relationship or a well-defined relationship. So that's basically cheating, and it can take various forms. It could be where you are in romantic, you are involved in a romantic relationship with the other person, or it could also be something that's not very intimate. Like if you are going to be chatting with someone and who is not your partner or you're not in a relationship with, and then you don't want your significant other to know what you're discussing, that is also cheating. So it takes various forms, and I hope that we will be able to, escalate it from that angle. So and it comes with a lot of consequences. So maybe it would be interesting to start hearing it from the adolescent's point of view, because that's where my focus is: young people, adolescents, and cheating.
I love what he mentioned about the forms that it can take and also the consequences, because I feel at times, people do certain things and forget the consequences at the end of the day and ruin a good thing going. Yeah. And then also when it comes in the forms, you'd hear certain people say, but it was just a text message,
Exactly.
And it's beautiful that you have mentioned that, because we're in this tech era these days. And sometimes we really don't calculate our actions, and we feel like they're so subtle, they have no, repercussions and whatnot. And yeah, that's a very beautiful point that you have raised there. I don't know what you think about it, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what he said. Cheating is not a one size fits all kind of scenario. It takes different forms, different shapes, different sizes. At this point, as Victor was explaining, I feel just even, looking at a woman who is not your own, if I could borrow that term, in a certain manner is, to a certain extent, a level of cheating, because what is the intention there, So it's not just about the act. It is rather about the intention. It is the intention that really counts at the end of the day. You might not go as far as doing the action, but it's the intention that matters. And I really like what Victor said. But my question to you now, Rose, is do you think cheating as a whole can be avoided? And if so, how can it be avoided? Because yes, I agree with you. There are a lot of people who are falling prey to cheating. And I was speaking to some colleagues who said, like, I didn't even know this was cheating. You know, that we are hearing things like that. I didn't even know this was cheating. So how can cheating be avoided? Can it be avoided?
There's this beautiful saying that goes around on social media that says, don't date someone you're not scared of cheating on. And I have actually taken that as a personal principle. Because, at times we do get in relationships and feel like we are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I don't know if you've ever noticed such scenarios. There are people who get into relationships knowing that, maybe I'll find someone better at the end of the day, but for now, I'm with this person. Those are some of the triggers of cheating, and that kind of comes in and makes people cheat. That's one of the reasons we end up seeing people cheat. So I would really advise that. And by the way, yes, cheating is avoidable. Cheating is very much avoidable. It's all about yourself. So I would advise that somebody finds themselves in a relationship that they value and they know they don't want to lose, because someone you really love, you try to protect heavily. And we're going to throw this back to Victor also. Though we have a comment down from Facebook that says cheating is done both sides, and it's a choice. One makes not to be faithful, which is really bad. People should stop.
Yeah.
That's coming from Victoria.
Yeah, very, very strong message. People should stop. Yeah, I like that.
Victor, comes back to you. Do you feel cheating can be stopped?
Well, thank you so much. Cheating can be stopped. Although at times it becomes difficult depending on the reasons why a particular individual is cheating. And so I'll give an example. There are, for young people, young girls, young boys, they may cheat because of economic reasons. Cheating, for example, may be the only way of survival. And how are you going to stop it if you're going to say, okay, stop? Okay, if this young person is involved in what is termed as intergenerational sexual relationship, a young girl involved with an older man who is providing everything for her, and then you stop cheating, may be difficult. So I think what we really need to also look at is not so much about stopping, but also preventing the cheating aspect. So we need to empower young people and adolescents and youth with information, with skills on how best to avoid cheating, instead of talking about stopping cheating. So I think that's an angle that I would really, really like us to look at. Although we can stop cheating, yes, if you provide the way out. What could be the way out then? Jeremiah.
Yeah. I like what you're saying a lot, Victor, because I think we should also be aware to the reasons why people engage in cheating. And you've mentioned something that is very, very important. Economic reasons. We live in a world that has very harsh economic systems, policies, you name it. The environment is very, very hard for a business to prosper. And an adolescent might think, the way out, for example, is to maybe find someone who can be able to provide for me. But I also like what you're saying about, it is more about preventing than stopping. Let's try and prevent this thing before it actually, matures. And I really like that. And I agree with you. I think we should do more in preventing this before it actually, spreads like a virus, and this also comes to how you can now, because when we talk about prevention, Victor and Rose, how then as Jeremiah would I know that, okay, I think this girl is cheating on me at this point? That is where a question.
Sorry to cut you short. We have a comment from Himamba Hachabwe. He's asking, saying, I want to be clear as whether you are talking about any kind of relationship, because we have different types of relationships. I want to understand why it's centralized to make and female relationships only. I didn't really understand the last part, but I'm sure we understand the other part. Oh, and he says, and also I would appreciate if anyone would define what really
Rose, are you still there? I think we lost you.
is cheating and why what do we call that? Yeah. So that's what Himamba says. I don't know who would tackle the first part and the second part so that we have him in the same boat as we are.
Yeah, I think on the first question, he's trying to understand what we're talking about. What is a relationship? The relationship we're talking about here, Victor, is when a man and a woman come together and agree that they will pursue a romantic relationship. So it's not friendly type of relationship that we're talking about. It is two people who come together and are romantically involved together. So we want to understand when people are romantically involved together, why do people now want to go elsewhere and find other people that they would also want to be romantically involved in? And then, Victor, could you just also quickly just run us through what really cheating is, like you did earlier?
All right, thank you, Jeremiah. So I think I mentioned from the onset that cheating is basically, being unfaithful to your partner. Okay, so in this instance, we are saying someone that you are intimately involved with. It could be a husband, it could be a wife, or it could just be a stable or well-defined relationship. So I want to use the word defined relationship, where you are involved with this person and you have actually established where the relationship is going. So anything that a person will do that the other person will not like in terms of getting involved with the other partner other than they are stable one is cheating. So you can, for example, the gentleman who was asked the question about what's the difference between cheating and chatting. So if this person is intimately involved, and then they all start with the other person, and they know that the chat that they're having will not be liked by the other person, that is also cheating because it starts from there. Okay, a greeting and how are you is okay, but then if it escalates to something that you don't want your partner to know about, then it's cheating. So that's basically cheating. But then, like I said, it has got so many other forms. But in this case, would want to relate it to what can affect an adolescent or young person, their emotions or their physical well-being at the end of the day. So when they are sexually involved with another person who is not their, let's say, a sexual partner, then it will come with the other consequences, which I think we may want to address as we progress. So that's basically what cheating is.
Yeah.
Speaking of addressing issues, I think we can actually begin to tackle one of the effects of cheating on someone. And I would like to begin from a low self-esteem and a bad mental health, just from the experience of being cheated on. Some people start to feel like they're useless. Some people begin to feel like they're not good enough, and some people actually just develop serious trust issues and can't move on with their lives.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And the challenge is when it starts to border on your mental health. I feel like when it reaches that point, it really gets back. Nchimunya Muinde Chileshe from the chat says, love relationships are a decision and therefore they must be gotten into correctly and at the right time. I feel people cheat because they get into relationships for the wrong reasons. I agree with her 100%. Sometimes people cheat because they're getting into this relationship, they don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's because of pressure from friends, pressure from social media, pressure from all sorts of places, and then you just jump into this relationship. Victor, one other important point I would like to hear from you today is how do you spot signs that someone is cheating on you? Like, how do you know? Because we are speaking about prevention. So then how do you know that, I think apapaipa?
Well, there are so many signposts to know that this person is cheating. So the first important thing is that communication breakdown. So when you are in a relationship and then you've been communicating, your communication has been smooth and all regular, and then suddenly it starts to fade off. That's one sign of cheating. And then secondly, the person becomes secretive. Okay, they were open with you in when you are starting a relationship, and then suddenly they start hiding certain things from you. That is also another sign of cheating. If you were able to chat with this person at any time that you want to chat with this person, then suddenly they are busy for no apparent reason, it could be a sign of cheating. And then it also becomes difficult for the person who's cheating also to use those nice words towards you. Okay, the romantic terms that people use becomes difficult for some to continue using them on you, because now they're using it with the other person. So I think I can mention quite a number of signs to that can point to someone that they're actually not being faithful to you.
Yeah, those were very, very good points, Victor, actually. And sometimes I also think it's about paying attention to these signs, because sometimes these signs might be just in front of you, like in front of your eyes. You're able to see all of these signs. But Victor, I also want you to speak into what then do you do when you begin to see some of these signs. It might be not all of them, but if you at least see maybe one or two, three things, what is your next intervention? What is your next step going forward? What would you do then?
Well, that's very important, and because it can actually prevent an emotional breakdown. So I think the first thing that one should do is to be open enough and be able to talk to their partner, not in a confrontational way, because again, that can also lead to other consequences. So you need to be open to your partner and ask in a very prudent way what you've observed and what you're not comfortable with, what you're not happy about. For example, if you notice that your partner is having this relationship with the other person, and you're not comfortable with, approach them and talk about it. Be open. So being open is one step that can actually be followed to be able to address the issue of cheating. So one, you just need to be open and be able to address the issues, and then also try and ask for some form of advice from somebody who's older. You can actually go to a counselor and ask, I'm in a relationship and this is what I'm facing, so that then they advise you the next steps to follow. Because if you're going to go it alone, you may actually find yourself in some gender-based violence, which can be prevented if you take those steps. So I think these are some of the important other things that one can follow. But maybe in the interest of time, I'll limit myself to that, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for those, Victor. Those were very, very, very helpful. Now, I think the challenge again here is that cheating is bordering very much on us as the young people, on our health, Victor. So is it at that point when you see these signs that you might want to visit a health facility, so that maybe you do an HIV test, you do an STI test, you get yourself checked by a health practitioner? Is it at that point when you see these signs? What is your advice around that? I want you to now basically just marry the cheating to why we are seeing young people's health just deteriorate every now and then.
So I think that the point when one needs to do an HIV test is really from the word go. When you start a relationship with this person, you need to know their HIV status. So that's a point of one's when one should make a decision of doing an HIV test. And then secondly, you also need to decide from the word go that you need to practice safer sex practices from the word go, rather than you coming to start putting in those measures when you notice that there is cheating. Because by the time you want to start putting in measures, for example, to safeguard your health, or say the risk of you acquiring HIV infection, you may actually have already acquired. Because when you are in a relationship where there is cheating, the person that is cheating may just be in what we know as a multiple concurrent sexual relations. So by the time you're going to start thinking of maybe even withdrawing or even dumping that person, you may have already acquired the infection. So the first thing is, when you get into a relationship, know the person's HIV status, and then 2, define the relationship. Decide how you are going to be intimately involved with this person. If you are going to decide to be sexually involved with this person, decide on using practicing safer sex practices. For example, you can actually be intimate with someone but not even sexually involved. You can actually abstain and use other forms of intimacy to show that, for example, as young people may think that you are in love, okay? But if you decide to get intimately involved, there are all these measures that have been prescribed by the Ministry of Health, safer sexual practices like condom use and all that from the word go, so that you don't want to come and introduce a condom 6 months down the line in a relationship. The other person will start asking questions why suddenly this has come up. Okay, so maybe for now, this is what we can do from the word go, before I come and talk about the consequences of being in a relationship where there's a lot of cheating.
I think we really appreciate the fact of what you said, define the relationship. Today we're hearing things like, oh, monogamous relationships, polyamorous relationships, open relationships, blah, blah, blah. You might be thinking in a monogamous relationship when your friend thinks he's in a polyamorous relationship, or she thinks she's in a polyamorous relationship. And then at the end of the day, we come and find that, oops, no, it wasn't that situation, and people start getting their emotions hurt. So that's really true. I think we can go on to the effects because we have a very short time. So keep it short and simple, and then we might be saying bye-bye.
All right. So the consequence of in being in a relationship where the other person is cheating is that you expose yourself to acquiring infection like HIV and other sexually transmitted infections, and also apart from the socio-economic, psychological consequences. But importantly, I just want to address the issue of risk of HIV transmission. So when you're in a relationship where there's cheating, you are in a pool of a relationship where there's a high viral load. Because when a person is cheating, they may actually acquire HIV, and recent acquisition of HIV infection renders the person to having high viral load, and the high viral load is a risk to new infection or new transmission. So it makes a person to be at a very high risk of acquiring HIV infection. I think this is how I can put it.
Perfect. That's really true. I think as much as we would like to go on and on with this topic, we're still going to leave this information onto the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube spaces. So you can still drop your comments when you watch the video, because I don't think the live will be deleted. It's still going to stay on our page. Please leave your comments and your feedback, and we will still, reread them on the next Friday that we're going to come on, because remember, we're on every Friday at 2 p.m. I must say that today's conversation was really informative and I really appreciate it. Victor, I love the points. Jeremiah, great job on the points and the questions too.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I feel quite refreshed because I'm leaving this conversation having known a lot of things. Now, what is very key, my take home point from this conversation is that cheating, regardless of the means, regardless of the reason, is wrong, and we need by all means necessary to avoid cheating. This is because it is contributing to the bad health that we are seeing amongst the young people. Talk of the HIV infections, talk of the mental health issues, and the list goes on and on and on. But if you by any means necessary see the so-called red flags, as we call them, visit a health facility that is near you to get tested for HIV, to seek HIV and AIDS information, to seek STIs information, any type of information that you need. If it's counseling, these services are available in the youth-friendly space. Let me also take this opportunity to thank the Zambian Youth Platform for having brought us the help. Thank you very much for everyone with their comments. We will be reaching out to all you lucky listeners, because we have a little something for you. So we'll be getting in touch. We have gotten your names. We'll be getting in touch. And remember, we come to you every Friday at exactly 2 p.m. Central African time. We're on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for the Zambian Youth Platform and you'll be able to enjoy this lovely, lovely show. I have been your co-host, Lubumbe Jeremiah Mlanda. I will hand over to the lovely host herself, Rose, to close the show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor and Jeremiah, and our sign language interpreter. Thank you for doing a great job. We more than appreciate you. And of course, our takeaway is remember to be honest, remember to stay faithful, and if you cannot abstain, remember to condomize and have one sexual partner at a time. As we said, communication is key in this whole thing, so do it throughout your relationship. It was lovely being your host. My name is Rose Moa, and see you on Friday, 2 p.m., Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Bye!
Bye-bye.